When I googled leadership traits, I got one skill that came up just again and again, which was communication. And traits that were included were integrity, decisiveness, self-awareness, respect, compassion, vision. There's a word here, but the font's black. I give up. Learning agility, collaboration, influence, integrity, courage, gratitude, and resilience. One gray spot I noticed was empathy, which I feel like is something that I have to work to learn, but I also have met just so many really kind people who I believe just genuinely have that in them, so I'm not really sure if I would consider empathy a trait or a skill. I'd say it could be either. It just depends on who you are and like what your intentions are. What is advice given on the sites for how this trait can be developed or strengthened? Most of them was just about circling back to self-awareness, thinking about actions and consequence, and also reflection on after things happen, like what were your choices as a leader and what can you do about that. Is based on what the American Library Association said in their leadership trait section, and it's mostly about daily journaling, or even if you don't want to journal, just a purposeful reflection where it's like time where you're thinking about it. Just think about it. And collaboration is the one that I think that I need to develop the most for that contact. Despite having a great life with parents who love me and support me, I'm deeply untrusting of anyone who may impact my future. And by future, as a freshman in college, I do mean my grade, because I'm still in the high school mindset, I fear. But as I'm moving into the workforce, I can see that twisting into dislike working as a unit with people who I may not like. I don't like people generally. I'm a great fun, I promise. I'm incredibly blunt and struggle understanding what I think isn't always the best way to say it. I struggle a lot writing emails because I just want to be like, I need this information, and then people like read it and go, you need to ask them how they are, and I don't want to do that. I don't think I'm like disrespectful, which is a different thing to define, but that is a fear that I keep with me so that I don't accidentally forget pleasantries, and that I don't want people to misunderstand. I guess I don't know how I'm explaining this. For full transparent, okay, this is the social media one. I was in Sophie Silva, yeah, that's her name, who is an influencer I've seen on YouTube Shorts, which is the only thing I use. She's mainly known for fashion and lifestyle content, and I'm assuming she's on TikTok. She talks a lot about expressing herself, outfits and such, and also confides in insecurities, and she shows how she does things like crafts and like accessorizing, and she always says where it's from and goes through like any struggles she may have had. She has talked about her eating disorder and how it's affected her, but it's always in a very polite way, of course, because she's struggling with it. She knows what people don't want to hear, but also she's like, this is of course something that only works for her, which makes sense because everyone is really different, and it'd be really strange to take a stranger's advice on something that personal. She's promoting health, I believe, and I don't know, I'm gonna pull up a screenshot, I think, on the video editing, but from her 31 Days of Halloween costumes, just how like much energy she has, and how like throughout the outfit she goes like, well, this is like a low budget option of the fit, but since she's online and I assume monetized, she wants views and stuff, so she then goes farther. And I just think that she is very creative, and she wants to inspire confidence, and she does go out in public in these fits, even not on Halloween, like 31 Days of Halloween, and I think that's crazy, but I also live in constant fear of being noticed. I think I'm being more personal today than normal. Sorry, my roommate walked in. I didn't want her to think I was crazy. How comfortable are you giving and receiving compliments? I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable giving compliments than I'm receiving them, just because I think I'm rude a lot, so I try to start interactions with a compliment, just so people know I like them. You're learning a lot about me. Identify someone that you work with in a leadership capacity and give them a specific compliment based on their contributions. I work at West End, and they recently hired new student assistant managers, the SAMs. And when one of the newly appointed showed up, I was like, oh my god, I cheered when I got the email yesterday listing out like all of the new SAMs, because like genuinely you are like so overqualified, and it's amazing how now you get to show up to your shift an hour earlier and help out, because more the better. I'm paraphrasing. I was a lot less self-centered. How do you think this helped the growth/development? I think that this made it, we don't know each other, we just work together, but I think this made it us be like a lot more friendly, because it was like, hi, I am just so happy that you get this 50 cent an hour pay bump and you get to work longer shifts now with still no break. Yeah, what was there more? How did you feel when giving compliments? I like giving compliments. Yeah, it made me feel less like I'd been washing dishes for 2 hours and still had 3 more to go. And yeah, it was fun.